thank Rebecca for filling in for us while we were gone at Leadership Conference. And as you guys could see the pictures, we did a lot. We crammed a lot into there. But I always love the excitement and the energy and just also the experience of Rebecca. So I know a few of you were on. If not, make sure you go back and watch the playback. I kept trying to do it from my phone and it wasn't letting me. So I watched a little before the meeting. But thank you, Rebecca. I so love and appreciate you and all of your wisdom and excitement that you share with the unit. And so you guys, we had lots of experiences at leadership, and we all decided to go the day before and do kind of a power up day with Kristen Sharp and Brittany Jinks and a lot of other top directors. And then, so that was like the whole first day. We all could have gone home then because the wisdom, the things they shared, Connie Kitson, so many top directors that we don't really always get to hear from were there. And we got so much from that. And so I'm going to go ahead and start with Heidi because she ended up getting a little bit sick and wasn't able to go really to anything else. Well, she got a lot sick. She ended up with strep throat, but she was such a trooper. But she was there that whole day for the Power Up Day. And then it was kind of fun. We went to a friend of mine, Jan Onstott, she was in Isla's area with us. She lives in Nashville, so she hosted a party. So we went over there and had tacos and met some more people, and then literally went nonstop for the next several days. But Heidi was a trooper. I don't know if you weren't feeling good that day, but you were there that entire day. And so she's going to be sharing from Power Up Day. I'm going to put it on speaker view now.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So I am so thankful that I got to go to leadership this year. And even though my experience wasn't what I expected it to be, I got a lot out of it anyways. And it actually, I think I had some healing that happened from missing Nashville last time when I was supposed to go. So everything works out the way it's supposed to. I've learned that through my years here with you guys, and everything happens for a reason. But I did end up with very severe strep throat. I felt fine though at Power Up Day. It's so wild because it like hit me at like 2 o'clock in the morning that night. And I was just like, okay, I'm down for the count. So super thankful for the girls that were with me to take care of me. They all were so sweet, checking on me and running, getting antibiotics and all the things. So, and thank goodness for telehealth because that was awesome. Okay, so we got to go to Power Up Day. This is the flyer that you might have seen going around for it or whatever. This is the packet they made for us. Um, if there's anything that I can tell you guys that gets through to you is like don't miss any kind of extra thing. I think this was $18. They charged us $18 for this training. It was a little over 5 hours long. They had goodie bags for us, and like the goodie bags, like Kristen and Brittany were talking about how everything they put into this was way more than what the $18 covered. And they, use their own profit, their own personal profits to help pour into us. And I thought it was so beautiful how they had their area directors sitting up in the front. And there was like, I think there was 3 rows for each of them. And then everybody else in this completely packed room was all Mary Kay National Area directors. And I thought it was so cool. There might have been a couple that were from another national area, but most of them were Mary Kay National Area. And I love that these nationals took the time to put this together for us because we don't have a national. And the company does a wonderful job taking care of us, and they have wonderful trainings. They do wonderful things for us. But there's something so special about having a national to work with. And I love that Kristen and Brittany both kind of took us in under our wing. And part of that is because Brittany came from the national area as well. And so she has, deep, deep roots with us. And so it was really good to hear from them. There are so many things how long do I have?
Oh, let's see.
Give me a time limit.
Well, share what you want to share because I
Okay,
just got,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to kind of work through my workbook because I did take some notes. So, one of the first things that they did was they just, besides prayer, which I love in our company, was just thanking Mary Kay for everything that she did to pioneer this company for us. And, Kelly Dart had sent out a text message to our group that was like, and thank you, Denise, for bringing that to us. And like, you guys, all the things that Denise has learned throughout her years and being trained by Mary Kay herself, like she is the closest we can get to Mary Kay. And while we don't have a national, like we have Denise, and I think that's better than a national. Like she has been trained by Mary Kay. The things that I heard in all the training since I started in Mary Kay are really verbatim what Denise is already teaching us. Like, it's not to say you don't need to go to a company event because you want to go to a company event, but we're so blessed to have her right here with us all the time, doing remarkable training and remarkable coaching with us. And I hear these other top directors regurgitating the same things Denise is regurgitating to us all the time. So we're very thankful for our lovely Dee. um, One of the other things that she said is that, Mary Kay Ash always said that, people are a company's greatest asset, but the greatest pollution problem is negativity. And this was really important for me to hear because I think that sometimes we can get into these Facebook groups or hear other people, and there's just a lot of negative chatter around change that happens. And it does not matter what kind of change it is. I mean, when women were completely against the dishwasher and washing machines back when they first started, and where would we be without them today? So it doesn't matter what the change is. People are going to be hesitant. There's going to be negative chatter around it. And I think it's just so important to make sure that we nip it in the butt. Don't listen to it. Put a positive spin on it. Really listen to what the change is going to bring into our life, because we are going through a lot of change, which I know I'm not going to talk about that too much because I know Kelly's going to share on that a lot. But um, there's so many good things that are happening for us, and we need to be aware that the negative chatter that we're listening to is going to affect our experience. And so, like she said, the greatest pollution is negativity. So just trying to like keep that at bay. Don't let that seep into our day. Try to stay positive. If you hear somebody else talking negative about it, kind of gently remind them of the good things that are happening because of it. Um, then we got to hear from Executive Senior Director Lindsay Kramer. I always say it wrong. I think it's Creamer. But she talked about the shift starting with you. And I love that she said, when a woman makes up her mind, the universe will conspire. Like, who tells us that all the time? Denise, right? We're hearing it all the time. So when you make up your mind for what it is that you want in this business, like, the universe is going to go to work to make it happen. It is already on its way to you. It's not our decision to decide the timing of that. It's our decision to take inspired action and just work towards our goals and let it come to us as it's supposed to. Believe first, then ask, then do. Be, do, have. We trade on that all the time. I thought that was awesome. And then inspired action and knowing when to pivot. So we can take inspired action, and if something is not working for us, we need to be mindful of that and pay attention and take reflection, and then pivot that to be to reflect something new that's going to get you towards your goal. So just being aware of it and being willing to pivot and not staying so hard in your ways. If it's not getting you closer to your goals, it's time to start something new. I love that they're talking about bringing the pearls of sharing back. Like, we still have it. It's never gone anywhere. But how many of you have pearls of sharing? Like, I didn't get my pearls of sharing. Like, I think that it's time for us to maybe revisit that again, because I know that we have a new set that came out and it's time to earn them. We all need to be wearing our pearls of sharing. Yeah, Kelly did. I remember Kelly and Jana. Kelly Moore, did you get your pearls of sharing? No? Okay. Yeah. So it's time for us to do it. Um, I also love that she said disability does not define your ability. I think it's really easy when we're talking about negative chatter, to go into victim mode sometimes and to be like, oh, well, I can't do this because of this. But disability does not define your ability. There is nothing that you cannot accomplish within this business. It doesn't matter what your disability is. And sometimes disabilities are seen and sometimes they're not seen. And we don't know what somebody else is going through. But they're able to, I love that this business is able for you to work it no matter what is going on in your life, no matter what is happening, there's a place for you. And I think that's really important to remember, especially when we're sharing with people, when we're looking for new team members, you never know who this is going to affect. I think of Jennifer Nicholas all the time, though some of you might have got to meet her, but she's in Portland, Oregon, and she's one of the team members on Allie's unit. And she was completely bedbound because of a condition that she has. And she was doing Zoom parties with people that she knew over Zoom from bed. And she was selling thousands of dollars there for a while. Her health kind of took a turn, she took a step back, but she's still in my future unit. And she is still a part of our community. And I'm super thankful that we have her as an example of how you can really work this business no matter what. We don't have any excuses. There's none. I also love that she said that nobody's journey is the same. There are so many people in this. I mean, we had over 5,000 to 7,000 leaders at leadership this year. And they all look different. They all talk different. They all work their business different. The ones that who got to million dollar director all did it a different way. Nobody had the same strategy to get there. What is the same among everybody is their consistency to show up for their business. And consistency doesn't have to look the same every single day. It just means that you're showing up, which I know we've trained on here about that before. And then when shifts happen, your leadership decides which way it goes. And yes, this is designed for leaders and directors. However, we're all leaders. We're leaders of ourselves, leaders of our family, leaders of our team members, of our children, of our peers. And so your leadership decides which way that pivot's going to go and which way it's going to shift. And so that a lot of that goes back to talking about that negative chatter, and just getting that out of your head and really being cautious of what you are putting out there. And then, so they filled our pamphlet full of really cool, like sheets to help you with things, which I'm going to post some of them. I'll post some of them in the Future Inspired Facebook group later. Um, but one of them that we kind of went over, so I love that Mary Kay gives us so many tools to know what's happening with our units. So as you move into directorship and you start, having a unit to take care of, we have so many tools at our hands that are free for us to use. And I think that's so cool because a lot of times in business, you have to hire a financial advisor and hire these people to help you understand your unit and what's happening and what's going on with it and where you're at. And I just love that our company takes care of us. It's all included. Everything's inclusive. And like the personal development's all inclusive. We don't pay thousands of dollars for personal development training. We get that for free here with Mary Kay, which is really cool. So Connie Kitson is Emeritus National, and she talked about audacious growth and just 10% growth. And I know that the company has put out a 30% growth, and that's completely different than what I'm talking about. But if you think about 10% growth, so like right now, I only have 17 team members. I say only. I have 17 personal team members. And it just adding 10% every month would be like one team member a month. Next month it'd be maybe two for a couple months, then adding maybe three for a couple months. And like obviously being in DIQ, I want to grow way faster than that. However, my point in saying that is that a 10% growth is such a small amount when you really think about it, but it has an exponential effect. After 6, 7, 8, 9 months of doing consistent action to build your team, you're going to see bigger and bigger numbers. Me and Denise were doing the math for hers while we were there at the class. And, if she does 10% growth between now and the end of the seminar year, she could be, I think it was 250 team members, unit members was it 250?
Well, I actually did it again, and I think that would be 20% growth, but
Okay.
by doing 10% growth, we will be over 200 unit members from 140 right now that are active.
Yeah, yeah, you guys, that's huge. You know what that would do for us? That would like we would be trip Denise would be a trip director. We would be able to walk up there and be so proud of that we did that. So there's just a lot of great things that can come from growing. And I like the idea of looking at it in small numbers, not big chunks, because it makes it easier for me to digest and not get overwhelmed with the numbers. So I thought that was really cool. Um, Connie Kitson, was later in the day, but she also did a segment on um, image, which I absolutely loved. And she went around before we started and she pinned little fuzzies on everybody that she thought was representing the Mary Kay image. And Denise was chosen for that. And it was really cool to know that our leader, she represents everything that Mary Kay Ash wanted for the company. The way she looks, the way she dresses, the way she carries herself, all the things. And she kind of gave us a little rundown of, it's okay to be a little extra. Do your makeup, wear your lipstick, put your hair up. Like you don't have to look perfect all the time. I know Denise has trained us a lot on looking for where you're like looking the part for where you're going. So, I mean, you're obviously not going to wear a dress everywhere, not going to wear a full makeup to the gym, but look, having some CC cream on, having some mascara on, look, having your hair fixed. Those little things do make a difference, and it's okay to take pride in your appearance. And to put your best foot forward. And we are beauty and skincare experts. And I love that. I don't know if Kelly, I don't know if Kelly would care if I shared this or not, but we were at the airport and she had made a comment that, like, here I am a director and I'm not dressed the part. And she had a little a little napkin that she had wrote this on. I took a picture of it because I'm like, this is so critical to like in the future coming back and looking at that. I love saving mementos like that. But you know, we sat down next to some nationals and she was like, "Oh, you're a director?" And this is on the way home. We're like day after, we're like not glammed up, ready to go home, right? And it was really eye-opening to Kelly to be like, "Oh my gosh, like we need to dress the part all the time because we are leaders. We are leadership." And I felt way underdressed myself. And I just it was a wake-up call for me too, that like we want to be representing our company no matter where we are, because we're not just representing ourselves, we're representing the company. Like when I'm out and about, I'm representing all of you. And when you're out and about, you're representing all of us. And it's important to like there was this goes to social media too, because I read this it was I think it was on TikTok. I think it was on TikTok. And this director had booked a party. She was talking about it, and she had booked a party from a 19-year-old girl who was really excited about coming to Mary Kay to her party. And she had never tried Mary Kay ever in her life, but she had heard about it on TikTok. And she had seen these younger girls who were talking about Mary Kay and how excited they were and how they were running their businesses. And so we are out there on social media too. So the way that you present yourself on social media is just as important as you representing yourself in person. She also shared with us like ways to look thinner when you're taking a picture, and it was really super cute because she's just so tiny anyways. I'm like, she looks tiny no matter which position she's in. But it was really fun to see it. And it was the same thing Denise is always telling us. It was a 10 and 2. You take your little foot and hook it into your other foot and turn your hips and your shoulders. But it was super cute to see her up there posing for us. We also had a men's panel, which was really cool. I thought that was awesome. And I'm going to post these pictures on the group for you guys to go through. So for those of you who have a significant other, um, ask them these questions and see where they're at and have a conversation around your business, because um, there's my one takeaway. I didn't take notes because they were so hilarious. They had like 6 or 8 guys up there on the stand, and they were all kind of passing the microphone around. They were hilarious. Um, but my takeaway here a week and a half later is that men want to support their wives. They want to be there. They are so proud of us. They're so proud of the work that you're doing, and they are some of them are more supportive than others. And even the ones who weren't as supportive would say so, like, "Hey, I wasn't very supportive at the beginning, but this is how I learned to be more supportive." And a lot of that was just through communication with the wife and the husband and what she needed from him, and giving him an opportunity to step up to the plate instead of just being like, "Oh, my spouse doesn't really care about this. I'm going to do this on my own." But like including them, especially for those of you who want to move up into leadership, having a really supportive partner is very crucial to that. I think Denise has said this before, that like you can do it with a man or without a man, but you can't do it against a man. And it's true. And so, you know, getting them on your team, getting them on your side. But it's this cute little Mary Kay superheroes, and like how do they fit in? Which superhero are they based on their level of commitment to helping you? And then it's got some fun real talk reflection questions in there, like how do they support you? And this is from their word, so like they answer these questions, not you answering it for them. Um, and I had only asked Justin one of them, but I was like, the way I most often show up to support Heidi is by what? And he's just keeping things clean. And it's so true. I've said this so many times. Like last time I went through DIQ, like he will keep my house spotless. He cleans my office. He takes the trash out. He makes sure that I can invite someone over at any time and it's okay. But I thought that was interesting. That was what he answered today. But I'm going to ask him the rest, even though he's not my spouse. He's my partner right now and he's helping me. So it'll be fun to see what he says. I also love that in the pamphlet, we got to see Mary Kay Ash's handwriting, and this will be in part of the stuff that I send out. But I thought that was really cool. They photocopied this in here, but it was for an article titled "Making It Clothing Makes the Woman," and it's all about dressing feminine, which there's a lot of chatter around that, and I'm not going to get into that right now because there's lots of feelings both ways. But I love that she said, "Isn't it wonderful to know that we have been right all along in maintaining a feminine image in our company?" And I thought that was really cool because it's not necessarily about wearing a dress or pants. It's about keeping a feminine image and standing in our feminine power, which I think is really powerful. And it is what separates us from other companies, which is really cool. Let me see what else I got here. I know I got a lot. How long have I been talking? Brittany Jenks talked a lot about communication and being an active listener versus a heart-centered listener. Um, and they're so different because sometimes when we're listening to other people talk, we're listening for responding and not understanding. But being heart-centered takes it even a step further. And I remember people sharing with me about Mary Kay Ash and how people would stand in line forever to talk to her. And when it was your turn, it was like tunnel vision. Like nobody else in that room existed. It was just you and her. And that is heart-centered listening. So while we can listen and we can multitask and we can hear what other people are saying and we can be paying attention to the conversations going on around us, that's not being heart-centered. Even if you can regurgitate everything they said, and even if you are truly listening, heart-centered is when you are making the other person 100% your focus. And I think that that is also what separates us from other companies, is that we do put that, like it's not in our golden rule values, but that is a golden rule value. It's just even when we've got customers in front of us, that we're just really putting all of our love and pouring into them. And it really does separate us from the rest of them. Let me see, there was one more down here. Oh, she gave us the flyer for communication. And I'm gonna actually share this one because then you'll know what I'm talking about because I know you guys have seen it before. But it's what generation are you? And then how to communicate with the other generations. And we've heard her train on this in the $1 Million Message, if you caught that one. But having the handout for it is going to be super cool because I couldn't remember. Even my notes were all messed up. So I'm going to post this one as well for you guys. But you can kind of take a look at like, what's your customer base and how are they wanting to communicate? Because each generation is very different. And then you can show up where your audience is. So like I'm an elder millennial, borderline Gen X. And so if I'm talking to somebody who's Gen Z or Gen Alpha, I might need to adjust my communication to match their style, just like we would with love languages, right? We match the other person's love language so they can feel loved. We want our customers to feel heard and to be able to reach them. And so this little, you guys can screenshot it if you want to, but I will also post it. And while I got this up, I think there was one more. I love these questions. We kind of went over these a lot with our vision board training, but I'm going to post them because they're actually all listed out. And then Kristen's roll it back. I thought this was great. I know this has floated around a little bit over the time, but because we're doing kit to commit and getting back to it, making sure that a kit to commit doesn't mean necessarily buying another starter kit. But if you are one of those girls who hasn't dusted off your starter kit in a long time, or if you have did the e-start and didn't get an actual starter kit when COVID started and we opened up that, this is a great tool for you to use to create your starter kit. I love that she just uses a roll-it bag because it demonstrates a roll-it bag. It takes up little space and then she just has to have her mirrors and trays and washcloths and things like that. So it makes it super simple, but this is basically what she packs in it. I will post that as well. Um, there's so many things here. I like this one. Okay, so a while back, Denise had trained us on $1 Million Morning and what we can do to like set ourselves up for $1 Million Morning. And this made me think of this, but it's questions to ask yourself every day, morning, throughout the day, and then in the evening. And so, like in the morning, what am I looking forward to today? How will I enjoy the journey more today? And what do I choose to accomplish today? I think that it's different than our six most important things in a way that it's more like inclusive to like positivity is the way I saw it. It's not like a task to get done. This is like, what am I looking forward to today? What am I going to do that's going to get me out of bed, and get me excited? And then throughout the day, who have you connected with? Who have you reached out to? If you're having a bad day and that negative chatter snuck in, what are you going to do to reset your day and start something fresh? And then also just like, I love the one, what do I love most about my MK career today? If we're showing up for our career every single day for our business, every day is going to look a little bit different and it's not always going to be the same. And some days you might not love your career very much. There might be days where you're like, I do not want to pick up the phone. I do not want to do this. And so taking the time to remind yourself of why, and what it is that you love about it is going to help you get through that day. And then in the evening, just reflecting on what went well that day. Did you make a difference? Did you reach out to somebody? Did you have a comfortable, uh, heart-centered conversation with somebody? And then what are you most grateful for? I just thought those were really cool. So I'm going to post those ones as well. And let's see. Let me stop sharing, get back to my notes. Um, Kristen Sharp, I could not even tell you what she talked about. Brittany and her, I know Brittany talked about heart-centered listening, but like my notes are completely empty. And I could not tell you what their topics even were. I just remember looking at her and being like, I want to be her someday. That girl is so poised and she is so good at speaking and commanding a room and like getting your attention. Like I was just enamored. I was like, I wish I would have recorded on my phone because I usually do. And for whatever reason, I was totally like in the tunnel vision with her that day. Um, I almost forgot. The other cool thing that we did on that Power Up Day is we got recognition for top 20 in sales. And our Kelly Moore was number 19 out of all the directors in that room, you guys. It was completely packed, standing room only in the back. And she was number 19 and she was the only DIQ up there that was recognized in the top 20. So it's like if you look at the pictures, it's her in her red jacket in this sea of pink. And I just thought it was really, really cool. I mean, I'm first of all, Kelly, I'm so excited for you and everything that you've been doing. But there was a moment where Kristen Sharp locked eyes with Kelly and was like affirming her so strongly about just knowing that she's doing her business the way it was designed to be done and that she's up there and she's doing it and she's got inventory and she's serving her customers and she's showing up for them. And like, I love the affirmations. And after every single speaker that trained or talked at all, um, Kristen Sharp would literally pull them aside and face them. She was not facing us. It was like shoulder to shoulder and just affirmed them for what they're doing in their business and their personal life and thanking them for being there to show up that day and to pour into us. And it reminded me so much of Mary Kay Ash, the videos that I've seen, but also more importantly, like what we used to do with our unit when we were in in-person meetings. I just love that like that affirming each other for training. And I think we still do it, but it's just different. It's just different. And I felt it this time. And I was like, oh, that's what we've been missing. So I'm excited for some changes that we're going to see happening within our unit. And I mean, we're going to talk about that way later, but um, I'm just super excited. And I literally left that meeting and I was like ready to go home and work. I was like, I don't even need to do the rest of the week. And that's what happened. I didn't do the rest of the week. So I literally sat in bed and my mind was like going 100 miles an hour. My body was like at zero. And so I have a lot of notes of things I want to work on, things I want to implement. But you guys, the biggest one is just seeing people face to face. That was so many people are working their business virtually and it's working and it's great for them. But even the people who are working it and doing really good with it still had better sales with in person. There is nothing that beats in person. Getting together, seeing people, pouring into them. So many of you who are on this call, I know, are called to share more than just Mary Kay with the people who are in front of you. And you get such a better opportunity to do that when you are in person, when you're getting to know them, when you're visiting with them, when you're finding out what makes someone tick. And I'm super excited for the Kit to Commit because it really is the foundation of all of it. That was said over and over and over again that day. And Brittany and Kristen really poured their heart and soul into making that happen. And now it's like a whole global wide thing. Like it's not just Kristen and Brittany's areas. It's gone global and we get to be a part of it. And I think it's super cool. And I'm going to stop talking now.
I know that was just such a fraction of what we all got. And I know that you're going to be posting. We got so many digital handouts and things too. So she's going to be posting all of that. But in the interest of time, thank you so much, Heidi. I know that you were such a trooper. You didn't feel good, but you did what you needed to do. You took that downtime and you reflected, thought about what you want to do. And on that last day, you were able to rally and have a little bit of fun with us. And then we had
Mhm.
great planning sessions the day we were coming back. We had a 3 hour layover. And I just appreciate your participation, even though you weren't able to attend everything. And
Thank
thank you for
you.
sharing. So let's go ahead and turn it over to Miss Kelly Moore next. She has a few specific topics, but I wanted her to kind of share her takeaways because everybody had different classes. We all had different classes. So let's give it up for Kelly Moore.
All right, so I am going to do a real fast recap over our Mary Kay Ash Foundation. And so they started, way back, and then I'm just going to take it for the last 25 years. So in 2000, it marked our 25-year partnership with Cancer Care, which is our leading organization providing our free professional support services for those facing a cancer diagnosis. And through that support of their Touching Hearts program, it had awarded 50,000 grants across 50 states, totaling $5.6 million in financial assistance, which was just awe-inspiring in that. And then in the early 2000s, we went national to end the domestic violence, funding the PBS special spotlighting on the domestic violence. And we invested in the national network to end that domestic violence in the states as well. And then in this year was our 20th annual 5K. I did not know it had been going on for 20 years already. And so I was like, wow, that's a long time already that they've been doing the 5K and the 1 mile fun run, raising millions of bringing our communities together to support our twofold mission in that process. So, and then in 2019 was a big year for Mary Kay Ash Foundation in funding the first ever clinical trial with the Baylor, Scott, and White, um, which was successfully leading a new treatment alternative for women facing a triple negative breast cancer, one of the most aggressive forms of breast cancer. And then she fast forwarded through that of today, and our impact just keeps growing, where we funded over 300 cancer researches, over 725,000 hours of cancer research with 3,000 domestic violence shelters, and millions of women and their families being changed for the better in that process. So if you haven't done anything with the Go Give, please do, because, there's several of us, even in our own groups, that have been affected by cancer or have families affected by cancer and stuff. And so it's such a great cause in leading with that. Moving forward to this year, we have pledged $500,000 towards a brand new innovative breast cancer clinical trial that's already showing promising results. It's a multi-year gift with Texas Cancer Intercession Institute with a first of its kind center that's revolutionizing early cancer detection using just a simple blood test. So that right there is going to be a game changer for a lot of people. And we get to be right in the forefront of that. And so we're continuing our national sponsorship with Domestic Cancer Hotline. And together, we're not just writing the story of hope, but we're continuing to build that legacy of change, a legacy that I know Mary Kay Ash herself would be incredibly proud of. And so that's our update on the Mary Kay Ash Foundation. And then just my quick aha moments. I went into the DIQ class, which was, inspiring of itself. I mean, everything was just, why I keep moving forward to be in DIQ and finish up with my director by the end of seminar. But this had a lot of aha moments for me and just a lot of learning that I had to, write down and filter and go through. And get with Kelly on, this is what I need help with and stuff to build on. And so a lot of it, just some key factors that was really good for me is the Miracle Mornings, from Miracle Mornings all the way to building a strong unit and how we do those things. And so a strong unit is more than just, the number of people we have in our unit, but getting to that fabulous 50s and more, is what's going to be key to taking it there. because when you hit that and you're keeping your unit size big, you already have, the key factors that they had listed off in that. And so some of it is culture, and you'll find that automatically having a large unit, like, everybody always says, it's a different color, it's a different size, it's a different, lifestyle, it's everything. And so you're going to have that different culture to be able to bring to the table of that. It's the different wins, the challenges and stuff that keep your team active and intrigued and different things that we do. I know I love that type of affirmation and those positive, things of like, hey, I can do that, and some things I can't do, and other things it's like, hey, this was really fun and I want to push myself to do even more, the next time. The habits, making those good, healthy, ethical work habits, you don't lose sight of the work that it takes to get there and to build that team and reach that next goal or whatever it is that you want to do. So you have to continue to book and sell and build and then repeat. And it just is that normal cycle. And one of the key things that she said is that if you cheat the system, then you're only cheating yourself. So continue to do the work, to put, one foot in front of the other and just say, oh, that was hard. I give up. I'm not going to do it, which is my mindset a lot of times. Like I've asked, I don't know how many parties I've done in the last 3 weeks to get one person to say yes to the business opportunity. I was like, this is just too hard. Like I can't do it. I can't keep asking people when they keep telling me no, because then it feels like rejection on myself. And so Kelly's helping me get out of my head of that I'm not being rejected. It's just the opportunity is being rejected right now. It's not, and it doesn't mean forever. I've asked Estella 3 times and she finally said yes on this last one. So it's bringing that, for Trishan back into place that says, if I just keep asking, eventually somebody's going to say yes. And so stay out of my own head and stay out of my comfort zone was key that she kept reiterating and focusing on. So I have to remember to stay out of my comfort zone, because if I just get in my comfort of just don't ask, at the closing table, then yeah, I'm never going to grow my team or have any additional people that are going to say yes, and I'm cheating them, and then they're going to go somewhere else and sign up with somebody else when I could have asked and they could have signed up with me. And so remembering to stay out of my comfort zone is really good. And then if it's some of the things that they would just say is, I like the aha moments of the terminology or the sentences that they would say, or you hear Mary Kay said this, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I love that. Some of the ones that they said was, if it's to be, then it's up to me. So always aim for my first B. And so to do that, I want to just keep building to do. And then my biggest aha was, again, my disability does not stop my ability. That was one of my big things that multiple people said throughout. And I was like, that was my affirmation to get out of my head of like, I can't do this because of, my medical condition. I can't do this because of, where I'm at, or dealing with my son's condition and stuff. And so I have to reiterating that, no, this doesn't define who I am. I can still, push myself to move forward of what I want to do. And so a good system will shorten the road to success, remembering that my 9 to 9 people time, or for me, 8 to 8, because I go to bed at 8 because I have to get up at 4:30. But those were good things that it's, that work consistently is not continuously. Just be consistent. You don't have to work around the clock to make these things succeed. And then, of course, my biggest ahoo, was being up on that stage or at the front, with a whole bunch of pink around me and me being the only red up there. So I am doing something right, and I am moving forward, and I'll continue to, do that and grow in all of it, thanks to my wonderful leaders. So thank you.
Kelly, I want to tell everybody on you a little bit. You guys, she's funny and she is so much fun. And that's the fun thing about these events. It's like, we start out kind of shy and maybe feeling like we don't fit in with, this level or this crowd or whatever, but we're all just one. And we had a blast. We had a lot of fun. And when you get to know Kelly, Kelly Darts rubbed off on her a little bit too, I think. We had a blast, but I really, really enjoyed, you're just so incredibly special. And I really enjoyed you know, the time that we had together to get to know each other on a little bit of a deeper level, but also just the fun and the letting loose. And I think it just, the events like this just show how relatable that we all are. And we all are just people, even the nationals and the directors and everybody. So thank you for making the commitment and for going and for everything that you just shared.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to go next because the thing that Kelly's going to do is, I know she's going to talk about a few things, but the one thing, it actually applies to what I'm going to talk about right now. I'm just going to do 3 really quick ones. First, I do want to say one of my favorite things is reconnecting, having been in Mary Kay for 37 years in February. That'll be my anniversary. The people that I've known, the directors, the people that were directors that are nationals, the consultants that are now directors, and the company staff that's, you know, come and gone, and, you know, coming together. It is always like a homecoming and a reunion. But I want to talk you guys for what Ryan shared right off the bat, because every one of the nationals that retired got up and said, thank God Ryan is at the helm, that he is leading this company. And he said, thank you. And you're going to hear from Kelly Dart about this. Thank you for the patience and understanding for all of the change. It is paying off. He said the first month that they got the My Shop going, we had 22,393 online shops created and $22,000 in online orders processed through My Shops just in the month of December, since it started in the middle, just half of the month of December. 1,100 consultants became active with the new 30%. So that's a little bit about that. There's been increase in consultants since December. And he talks about in the ever-changing beauty industry, we cannot afford to stay where we are. Mary Kay even talked about that. We must accelerate forward to stay ahead. I went back and listened to the recording and just took some of the highlights, but we've got to stay ahead in this industry or we will be completely obsolete. We must be easily accessible where most of the sales are happening. That's why they're focusing a lot on social selling and each of us having our own merchant, My Shop. The company is dedicated to investing in technology to take us into the future and stay ahead of the crowd, which of course we've had a lot of that, and you'll hear the breakdown from Kelly. We're accelerating, and they talked about the power up, and we're speeding into the future also in the digital landscape. Mary Kay was a fan of that. She didn't love the change. She didn't even like email, but she embraced it, knowing that was going to be required. Change while holding on to the core identity and values and culture that we have. We can honor who we were and who we've been, but we can choose to be who we want to be next and where we want to be next. So those were just some of the highlights from Ryan. And again, he said, thank you for hanging in there and for the patience. Now, the next one I would talk about legal real quick. And they really planted a message that they didn't come out and say, but I'm going to tell you what I took from it, because I really took this to heart. You know, Mary Kay, of course, they've been cracking down on unauthorized sellers. They formed the brand partnership with Amazon. And as a result, I don't remember if I wrote all this down, how many unauthorized, about 80% of the unauthorized big sellers on Amazon are already gone, just since they put a few products on there. It's also raised the price point of Mary Kay and the value in people's eyes. So, but from legal, she said the regulators are looking for evidence to prove that we have real sales and real customers. It's critical to the future of our opportunity. And as she went on and as different people talked, the thing that I heard is that, you know, all these other companies that are going out, they're kind of being forced to go out and to change to affiliate models, because they're recruiting people to recruit people to use products or services. And in Mary Kay, we do that, but we also have real customers. And that's why they're making such a point. And they did even talk about, you know, instead of just sales to support a position in Mary Kay and big commissions. So I don't know if there's going to be a change in how we get paid. They didn't really say that, but they really reinforced that by us taking advantage of these My Shop opportunities, in addition to in-person and online and servicing our current customers, but reaching out and getting on social media and doing little plugs. That's what they need, the regulators need to see in order for us to be considered a viable opportunity in direct sales. And so the beginning of November, they talked about, the Amazon partnership is paying off since November 1st. They've eliminated 80% of the big, largest unauthorized sellers, and they've removed 30% of the remaining individuals sellers. So although it's going to be an ongoing game, there's always going to be people who try things. Just by them forming this brand partnership with Amazon, they've been able to actually make a huge, huge impact in getting the unauthorized and also counterfeit product sellers off there, because there are a lot of different companies that have experienced other people selling their products that aren't even their real products. Heidi talked about that. So they said it's elevated the price history. It's eliminating a lot of competition. Massive, massive progress. Even though we all freaked out about it, that they were going to be partnering with Amazon. They're still working to clean up the rest. Every initiative is designed to make it easier for consumers while protecting and safeguarding our opportunity. They need verified customer sales. And we are compliant as a direct selling company by doing the way the Mary Kay is doing that. Many direct sales companies have moved to affiliate model and taken completely away commissions from team members. I don't see Mary Kay doing that at all for commissions and for position. However, this is how they're going to be able to keep, paying us everything they pay us. By the way, Lisa Manson broke a record $17 million in her career, not including her sales, just in commissions. So we want to still get commissions, right? We still want to do that by changing people's lives. And then I just want to talk about one more thing. I'm going to turn it over to Kelly. And this was Allison Sellers, and she talked about a lot of stuff. Again, just really drilling it down. Change is essential. Embracing change with urgency and conviction. We're at a defining moment for our company. Our values are never going to change, but the way that people shop has changed. We know this dramatically. Consumers expect fast, easy, mobile friendly, and if we don't meet the expectations, consumers will go somewhere else, and they are going other places. So that's why they're really encouraging us to get out there more with our social medias. Most shopping today happens on the phone, and they want it to be professional, modern, and seamless. And why this matters, the digital first approach is Gen Z is leading the shift. They're rewriting the rules for work. Gen Z, it's not just an age, it's a mindset. They are not waiting for traditional careers because they were having a hard time getting them anyway. They are creating their own opportunities. They want to be entrepreneurs. So we're the right opportunity. In direct selling, it's an exciting option for them. Gen Z, they look for stability. I can't read my writing. They look for stability because stability is not promised in the workforce, in the work world. More than half of Gen Z wants to start a business, more than half. And they crave independence and control over their own careers and schedule and lifestyle. They crave community, but they also have a digital mindset. So again, it's not taking away from the way that we do business, those of us that love to do it in person, because I was on Kristen Sharp's call this morning, and one of the brand new nationals that's not Hispanic, the only one that's not Hispanic that's brand new, she, I think, is under Kimberly Copeland. She did built her whole national area just doing face-to-face parties. So it doesn't mean that you have to do online if face-to-face parties are working, but they're encouraging us to do both. The Gen Z, they live on social media. They're values driven. They're about authenticity and purpose. They choose brands that align with their values, which is, what the My Shop is about. We need to transfer our passion, though, about the product and the company to them, because we can't just do that through little digital plugs about the product. They're looking for leaders to show them the way. And so the DIQs are the future. That's why Mary Kay invited DIQs to leadership. And it was fun because some of the directors really caught the message that we had 18 national sales, 17 or 18 retire to emeritus this year, a lot of the big players. So I saw a really big increase in executive elite. So we have nationals coming up, but they said DIQs and Gen Z, it doesn't make us obsolete, but DIQs are the future. We are at the most exciting time in Mary Kay. And then one last little thing from Dr. Lucy Gilday. She talked about what's happening. She said, we're reinventing Mary Kay's dream. And we're so lucky to have Ryan as a CEO. Even this corporate staff member said this. We have so much going for us. They are keeping focused on the world, knowing how great Mary Kay is, reinforcing our position as a leader in the beauty industry and in the direct selling industry while expanding our appeal to a new generation of customers and consultants who value purpose-driven brands, quality products, and an authentic community. We have all of it. We have everything that the next generation is looking for and what the current generation is looking for. I always say Mary Kay was so ahead of her time. She was a visionary. She knew what we needed in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today and into the future. And so our company is paying attention. They really have the pulse. And so they're going to make sure that we continue on for another 60 years. We're more relevant today than we have ever been. And they're really working to elevate the brand. They're going to be doing a new brand campaign. They didn't give us any details, but this year in 2026, honoring all generations. So blending heritage with modern relevance, and because they're watching the trends. So customers aren't making decisions about our opinions. They look to third-party experts. So they went through and talked about all these different Cosmopolitan, Pop Sugar, People Magazine, all these different endorsements that we've gotten from third-party advertorials. So again, my takeaway, I'm not going to talk about my classes because they're really kind of more designed for, continuing to build leaders and build the unit. But my takeaway is it is a really, really great time to be in Mary Kay. And, we just like with any company and with the world and the changes that we've had attrition. But you guys, it was one of the most exciting leadership conferences I've ever been to. The energy was back. It's like, I know that I'm just going to call it out because we probably know those who have been around a while that, sometimes you have waves and, things with COVID, things were a little bit flatter. Right. And the company had to pivot very quickly to figure out how to do virtual events so that, we had something to participate in. But they really, all the way around in my classes, the nationals and the company encouraged face-to-face, again, if you can, and if that works for you, and social media posting and, working with all the generations. And I'm going to turn it over to Kelly because she has, kind of a humorous when we listen to this, but I lived all this, the things she's going to talk about. And I don't look back and go, oh my God, that was so hard. Sometimes we do talk about, when we started, how we didn't have cell phones and computers and all that. But, it's exciting to me to see how progressive our company is, not just in our products, because that's a whole other ball game, but with how we get it to people. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I want to turn it over to Kelly Dart, who is off camera, to share her takeaways and her part.
Thanks, Denise. I do want to just kind of reiterate the same things that everybody else has said so far. I'm a high I, and so there's lots of different things that I'll take away from things. And I would say I'm very sentimental in a lot of these kinds of events, and leadership is one of those that you just get to really be sentimental at. That's where a lot of the nationals do their retiring speeches and come out on the stage with all of their families. And that was just so inspirational and so amazing. And I was sitting in the audience and I was bawling my eyes out for Tammy Vavala. We all know that I love Tammy Vavala, and then also Lisa Madsen. And I was sitting there and I was like, that's so sad. There's so many of these leaders that are retiring, and it's not going to be the same. And it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was kind of like, there's people leaving the organization as far as they're retiring and aging out. But that just means there's more chance and more time for us to step up to it and not sit in the audience and be sad that they're retiring, but step up to it and do what I need to do in my lane, in my business, in my unit, in my growth. So we do keep this relevant for the next 60 years. And so the takeaway is amazing. All the stuff that everybody else has said, all of the different things I agree with. I love the airport humbled me, making me not feel I thought I looked super cute that day for wearing a dress and traveling home. I did have my hair and makeup done. I thought I looked cute, and I was very humbled by the shock on these Canadians' face when they found out I was a director. So, there's been some good things that have come out of that and my personal growth, aside from my facial issues right now. But I want to leave you guys tonight with we're going to watch 2.5 minutes of Karen Rydell's speech on change. And it is kind of humorous and it is kind of funny, but it's also so realistic and so real. And all the way back to the very beginning, Mary Kay had a dream, she had a vision, she had a business she was getting ready to launch. And before it happened, her husband passed away at the breakfast table, and she had to change right there. Right then, the whole entire basis of the company had to change before it even actually started. And so change is sometimes scary. It can be hard. It can also produce growth and good things. And so here's just kind of a comical take over the last 33 years of all of the changes that we have gone through in Mary Kay during her career specifically. And so Heidi's going to go ahead and play the video. And after that's over, I just want to come back on and say one more thing. So hang with us. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
There have been so many changes that we've had to navigate over the years.
Can you guys hear that okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Skincare formula changes from the classic basic to a new miracle set to a 3D miracle set and then back to a miracle set, right? The repair kit, Velocity skincare, botanical skincare, actually several botanical skincare sets, right? And then even the naturally skincare line, lots of at play color, do you remember that? To lots of chroma fusion to very limited color, right? Selling vitamins. Selling out of a gift catalog. Many different starter kit bags. No In Touch, desktop office manager, and now another new updated In Touch. No personal websites, personal Mary Kay websites, to now having our own My Shop. Tons of samples, limited samples, ProPay, Stripe, Star Consultant posters, online Star catalogs. $36,000 for national court of sales to $40,000, and now to $45,000. Sales director suits, sales director jackets, calling in our orders to ordering online via Mary Kay In Touch, and now on to e-commerce. Mary Kay date books, no date books, perfect starts, power starts, parties, skincare classes, beauty sessions, right? 4 seminar divisions to 5 and now to 3. Awards night and a royalty reception to an award show in the afternoon. Seminar in Dallas, seminar on the road. And don't even get me started on our COVID years, right? All of a sudden, there was no more working face-to-face, but we had to figure out how to work virtually. Zoom parties, Facebook parties, StreamYard, ring lights, Zoom meetings, virtual star parties, parties with samples, parties without samples, sending lots of samples, sending only skincare samples, Skin Analyzer app, 5 and 15, pirate ship, virtual guest events. Oh, I'm exhausted. The list goes on and on. Y'all, we know how to navigate change. Change is our middle name. Just call me Karen Change Rydell, and you can say the same about you.
So that was just kind of like a little cute, funny way of all of the changes that we've done in our organization. More changes to come, and change isn't bad. Change is good, and change is necessary. So we do stay above and we do stay relevant. So, there's so many good things that come out of all of these events. The fun time, the in-between moments, the girl time, the laughs in the elevators, the jokes in the, food booths, all of those things is what makes these events just one more step amazing than just the trainings and all of the stuff at the at the actual sessions. It's those little organic moments that happens on the in-between time, and the fun and the growing their friendships and those kinds of things. And there was a lady in our hotel lobby that we were chatting with one of the days, and she was in a wheelchair and her daughter was with her. And I didn't know how old she was or how long she'd been with Mary Kay, but it was apparent that she was still doing her Mary Kay business. And a lot of people were talking to her, and I got the chance to talk to her for quite a bit. And then later on, Kristen Sharp posted about her. She's 91 years old. She is the oldest active director right now in the Mary Kay company. And she worked side by side with Mary Kay for all of those years that she was alive. And she's 91, you guys, and she's still doing all the things and going to leadership and doing all the hard stuff with wheelchairs and all of the things. But she was still there and she was still present. And talk about a heart-centered conversation. She was talking to me like I was the most important thing in the whole entire world. And I'm just one, little new director. And here she is. She's got this legacy, and she just wanted to hear all about my story. So those are the things that count. Those are the things that matter. So many good things that came out of this. We've posted tons and tons of pictures. There's lots of videos on YouTube that we can share speeches and different things with. I just really don't want to miss company events. Denise had it right all along. It's just, you don't want to miss these things, guys. It's just so important for growing your business. So I did make a commitment to Diana Sumter, and I have never said this out loud to you guys, but I guess it's time. I am now officially tracking to become a national sales director in 2028. So you guys can all help keep me accountable and keep the growth happening, and let's do this and get Idaho a national sales director.
Okay. Heidi, thank you so much. First of all, Kelly, I don't really know why you didn't feel okay at the airport, because you had a dress on, didn't you? Anyway.
I did. Yep.
Okay.
It was just when those people at the other table were like, "Oh, you're a director?" And I was like, "Yeah." I apparently didn't look like a director to them. They did say that Denise looked like a national. They were very shocked to hear that she was not a national, because she looks the part for sure.
And there's a comment that I do want to address here about, there was somebody that wore pants, and I don't want to give this a whole lot of energy, but there is, Mary Kay asked us to do some things, and Heidi showed us in the booklet there are reasons why she wanted us to be feminine professional. I don't want to give it a whole lot of energy, but I know that Mary Kay Salesforce wants to kind of uplift that and uphold that, but we have to be a little bit careful, because we are a company where everybody's an independent contractor. We can't say dress code, or we can't make people look a certain way or dress a certain way. But you just heard a really perfect example of, just be kind of a little bit of a cut above. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, be appropriate, have your face on, look the part that you want to play. It doesn't mean you have to be in a skirted outfit all day long at your kid's soccer game or when you're working out or things like that. But there are always going to be people who want to test the limit. And I would say, until the company comes out with some kind of a statement of, okay, we're going to change with the time, black slacks are allowed with this or whatever, I'm just going to continue to uphold that. But that doesn't mean that if somebody is going to miss a meeting because they don't have time to go home and change or whatever, that we're going to make a big deal about it. So I wanted to just kind of address it, because Vanessa put something in the chat box, because there was some stuff on social media about somebody who did. But, it's just called so what, in my opinion. But just take that example that Kelly shared of, look the part. We were coming back, not even the end of the day that the conference ended, it was the day after. But again, wherever you go, there's going to be opportunities to meet people. I met some really interesting people. We had fun. We had a heated pool that was not necessarily heated, and we absolutely had a blast that night with that, and with this Downs kid that was splashing us all. And those are the things that you laugh about and that you remember later. And so let's go make some great experiences, you guys. Again, I know that, it's not as cost effective now to go to Career Conference as it once was when it was a little bit closer and drivable. So that's the way I refreshed it in our Inspired Area page, that there is going to be an event going on. Heidi Gelzer has moved up to the Portland area, and Sandy Kellogg was so kind to share the flyer of an event that's happening up there. So there will be that. And there are nationals who are Go Give and who put on events. But as long as there's a company event and I'm able to, I'm going to attend it. I've never missed one in 40 or whatever, how long I've been, 37 years in Mary Kay, career conference, seminar, or leadership. And I don't want it to start now, even though I know there are some viable options and opportunities. And I would much rather, if it's a choice between going to like Anaheim, for instance, there's one in Denver too, that's an option. And then either, if it's either or of career conference or seminar, because not everybody's working their business at the same level. I would rather people go to seminar. It's going to be in Fort Worth this year. So kind of evaluate it. And sometimes we feel like we don't deserve or we haven't earned it to go because we haven't done enough. That's why you need to go. If you're here, it means you probably are wanting more if you're on the Zoom. And so make the commitment. If I had not gone to seminar, just like Kristen said that, if, Connie hadn't done this or that, or the gal hadn't asked her, a lot of us wouldn't be here. If I had not gone to seminar, I for sure had no plans to win a car, become a director, and move up in Mary Kay. I came in to have, you've heard my story. So I'm going to tell you that's where dreams are born and recaptured. And I felt like the timing, it's always perfect. It's always perfect. It's always what we need. So, if the opportunity's there, plan for it, you guys. Plan for seminar. We've got until August. It's registration, plane ticket, and then we don't pay for our room until we check out. So anybody who really wants to go, Janet Sheely used to say, when people say I can't afford it, she said, you're just telling me that you're not willing to work for it, because we have an opportunity where we can make instant income. So it's all about choices and priorities. And this isn't shooting on anybody. This is, I know I've watched so many people come and go. I've watched a lot of people come back. I've watched people rise slow and steady. I feel like I'm kind of one of those. Never been a flash in the pan, but just keep on going because of my commitment to Mary Kay and wanting this opportunity to be there for the next generations to come. So I know that we've way gone over our time here. I want to see if it, okay. Does anybody have anything else that you thought of that you might want to share? Questions, comments, feedback? We did take some time to make some plans for what we want to be doing down the road. But in the meantime, we've got some really great stuff planned in the next few weeks. So anybody have any questions, comments, feedback before we end it for tonight? Love everything. Okay. So please do let us know. Don't wait to have the money to do it, and then make the money and pay for it. I've done that many times in my career. I bought a new house that I couldn't afford because it forced me. I was working David's Bridal, and I did a lot of parties, and it made up the difference. And so some people are motivated that way. That works for me sometimes. It's like I find something I want, and then I find a way to make the money for it in Mary Kay. So there was something else that somebody said. Yeah, I love that. I love that, Kelly. Don't wait until you have the money for it. So if you are going to do the kit to commit, let your director know. If you're going to Anaheim, let your director know. And check out the Voxer group. It's been pretty quiet. We haven't had a lot of activity on there. So make sure that you stay in touch with that, okay? And everybody have a wonderful, fantastic week. Thank you so much. All of you who shared. Love you all.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Have a great night, you guys.
It's cool. Cold shower. Like cold bars. Splash out. That's all it really takes.